How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about 5 bad RVing habits. 5 things that RVers do that's just a bad habit that just needs to stop. Really, there's probably going to be more than 5, so why put a number on it? So just bad RVing habits and what we can do to stop them. Okay, the first one is not getting lazy about the setup process. If you're pulling into a place with hookups, check that power pedestal before you pull into that site. It's a good habit. It's a bad habit not to check it before you pull into the site. You might waste all this time getting set up, situated into that site as you would like, and then find out that the pedestal is miswired or there's an issue there. So doing your check on the electrical before you pull in. And then when you get pulled in, take a measuring tape if you're close on something to make sure that your slide is going to clear, that your awning can open if you're hoping to do that. Just have that tape measure handy. It's a good habit to have, to be able to check those things before you disconnect the vehicle if you have a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, and then you need to move it after you've disconnected. One of the things that I do to help me on this one is I keep a tape measure really handy. So then I don't have an excuse for checking the clearances. So I keep a really small one in the door of the truck. So when we get there, it's just easy to pull out. I don't have to go digging for it. It's just always on hand. And it definitely helps me on that one. The next thing is not taking the time to get out of your vehicle when you get to a new place and finding what would be the best place for you to set up your RV. So a place like this, it doesn't necessarily have sites, but you want to look for where's going to be a good place for me to sit, where I can enjoy the area, I won't be in people's way, and it will help me level the RV. Finding that somewhat level spot will help you get your RV level quicker rather than trying to fight against the slope of an area. So breaking that bad habit of not getting out of the vehicle by getting out of the vehicle, kind of surveying what would be good for me, for others, and for the RV. Leveling your RV is going to be better for your fridge too, so that's another bad habit, is not leveling your RV. You want to level your RV. It's more comfortable, it's better for the fridge, it's just a good habit to have. Now, along that same thought of leveling, there's a couple of different systems. There's auto leveling and then there's stabilizer jacks. So in an auto leveling system, it's a bad habit to let your wheels come off the ground and not block and chalk them. You can get away with it and not do any damage, but you might come across that situation where there's enough lateral pressure on that auto leveling system that you actually bend it or damage it. And then on the stabilizer side, where we just have stabilizers on our RV, those aren't intended to lift the RV. So if you over crank those, you can actually damage those as well. So knowing your system and having the proper use of it, not having the bad habit of trying to lift your RV with stabilizer jacks, or the bad habit of lifting wheels off the ground with auto leveling and not blocking and chalking properly. Okay, this one's confession time. This one I just did like 2 days ago. And that's not putting away the awning when you're leaving. The wind can pick up and destroy it. So it just takes a couple of moments to be able to put it in and put it out. So rather than being lazy and not putting it away and then just bringing it back out when we got back, would have been the better way. We were fine, we didn't lose the awning, but it's always a good habit to put it away when you leave the RV. It'd probably be a better habit too if I use the tool to actually raise it all the way up. It's close enough, I can just reach it though. Okay, while I'm confessing my bad habits, this is probably the most egregious one that I have. I know that it's bad. You can put the comments in there. This is bad. You shouldn't do it. You should stop using this tool. And it's one of those slide stabilizers that go underneath here. It just makes a difference. I know that it's bad for the slide. I know you're not supposed to use it, but I've been using it for years. I do not recommend it, but it's still a bad habit that I have. The other bad habit that I'm gonna do today is I'm not gonna clean off the slide because we don't have any trees above us. So if you're in an area that you can gather stuff on the slide, it's better to get up there, clean it off before you bring that slide in. We found pine cones and branches and all kinds of stuff up there in places that those aren't, because we've carried them from other places. So clean off the top of the slide is a good habit to have. Another one is that final walk around, not doing that final walk around for a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't want to forget anything there, but you also just want to make sure everything's buttoned up properly. I'm actually going to do another one right after this because I like undistracted walk around for the last time. But the other thing that's more of a pet peeve for me is I want to make sure that not only am I getting all my equipment, I want to leave the site better than how I found it, or at least as good as I found it. So any trash, any of that, please pick up, leave it as good or better than you found it. That's a really good habit to have. Okay, we have just a few more on our list, and one of them is putting too much stuff in your RV. It's so easy to actually overload RVs because the tolerances, usually there's not a huge margin. So overloading your RV or not weighing your RV, not knowing how much weight you have in there, so then it's even easier to overload. Another thing that's easy to overload is the fridge. It's easy to overstuff it. Put too much stuff in there to where it's not gonna function properly. So it's easy to overpack it because they're usually not that big unless you put in a residential refrigerator, but it's easy to wanna pack in enough food for the week and then you overstuff it. So don't overstuff your RV fridge. Now, the last one might be more of a pet peeve, but here it is. So the last one is mishandling of the drain hose. I've seen people put this on picnic benches, or they put it up to the freshwater spigot at the RV site and they clean it out. So really it's just that same thought of leaving a site better than you found it. It may not be leaving trash, but cleanliness, thinking about somebody else using that picnic bench after, or that water spigot after, just having it clean. So just mishandling of the drain hose. So I think that's gonna do it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos about RVing, hit that subscribe button. And if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you next video.